Verse 8 has to be understood in the context of what he just said, which has to do with the coastlands and the prisoners and his people. And he says, look, my esteem I do not give to another. I give my honor, the better word there is honor. I only give my honor to my son and to my people. I'm not giving it to another people who want to claim to replace my people. I'm not giving it to idols. I'm not giving it to somebody who just claims to be doing this or that in my name. He says, my esteem I do not give to another. I give it to who? I give it to this chosen one here, which we know is talking about Yeshua, because Yeshua tells us that. But also we can understand that this is honor being talked about here, and that honor is given to the covenanted people, even though they have not deserved that honor. He promises he will bring them back to a position of honor. He says, I don't give that honor to just anybody. People have read this verse, I think, and thought he's talking about himself. He goes, my honor, in other words, about me, I don't give it to anybody else. No, I think he's talking about, I don't give that honor to anybody but these who I've just talked about. I give honor to my son. I give honor to my chosen people. When they do what is honorable. Now, Yeshua always did what was honorable. We do not always do what's honorable. As his people, we are often doing things that are shameful. But he's saying is just because of all of that, remember, because this verse doesn't come until after he talks about the darkness and the prisoners. He's saying, look, even though they're in darkness and prisoners, I'm not going to go give my honor to somebody else. These are still my people, and at some point, they are going to get the honor. When they what? Make teshuvah, when they repent, when they set things straight, when they seek after me in the places I've scattered them. And you can read about that in all of the prophets, where they talk about this. In Hosea, especially, in Micah, in Malachi, everywhere. He says, I'm going to retrieve them. And then they're going to what? Be put back into a place of honor. Important that we understand that. So that just hit me yesterday, that I think I've often taught and thought of and heard people teach that he was referring to himself here. And I don't think so. Because in the context of the flow from chapter 42 and verse 1, he's referring to two specific entities. This special one, this servant, this one in whom he was well pleased and whom he delights, and this group of people, these prisoners. And I think he's trying to say, look, don't you out there think just because I've got this one special one and I got these other ones messed up and they're prisoners now, that somehow, because this is that whole replacement theology where the church says the Jews blew it, it's now us. Okay? No. And Paul even tells you as much. He says, look, don't you boast against the natural branches in Romans. Okay, yeah, some of them did blow it and they got broken off of the tree. But they can get grafted back in too. But don't go boasting against them just because you're looking back in 20/20 hindsight and see how dumb they were. You know, Paul often tells people, look, you were estranged from Yahweh. You were walking the way of the Gentiles. You had no covenant at that time. So don't think you're somebody so special and go looking and judging others. We all have a past. Some of us have a present that we're still struggling with. And so he says, don't boast about that, but I think that's part of what's going on here in verse 8. So anyway, maybe that put a light bulb on for some people, maybe it didn't, but I just wanted to bring that out so that you could hear that part of it, and hopefully in hearing that part of it, it will bring some usefulness to you that, you know, because you're going to hear out there a lot of people trying to do this kind of idea that, well, they blew it, and this is for us, and we're now this, and don't fall into that stuff. What Yahweh does is he opens up the doors for you to become a part of that group. That group never gets completely cut off forever. He says, I'm going to punish you for a period of time. But then after that period of time, I'm going to bring you back. But yet still, everybody else can now come and join themselves to Israel. It's always been about Israel, and it will always be about Israel, even to the point where the 12 tribes are the names on the 12 gates into the New Jerusalem. It's still all about Israel.